So I'm going to hand over to Aliaksei and South Park, apparently. So over to you, Aliaksei.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Aliaksei and South Park presentation. So, am I on? Hello, everyone. This is a lightning talk called Reactive Services in Angular. It's a small part of my original bigger talk about state management that I delivered a couple of times on various meetups and conferences. But before we get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Aliaksei Kuncevič. I am an Angular expert, mentor, and independent consultant, helping companies to adopt Angular in the most efficient way by applying solid architectures and best practices. I'm organizing Angular Minsk, Angular Sydney, and front-end tech meetups. Also, I'm running an online and offline Angular workshops and teaching Angular at kuncevič.dev. I'm also a creator of frontendwatch.com, which is an online resource where you can learn more about modern front-end frameworks and to look up for the recent trends. Also, I'm a part of the NGXS core team. NGXS is one of the top state management solutions for Angular. We are a global team of world-class professionals. Our goal is to make NGXS the best state management solution for Angular. Today, I will talk about single-page applications and how Angular developers approaching business logic using so-called reactive services. Then I will introduce Rx service as a library that simplifies the reactive services approach. Just a quick disclaimer, this talk is not related to AngularJS. This talk is related to Angular, which is the latest one. So just remember that AngularJS stands for old version of Angular 1.x, and just Angular stands for any version 2+. If you want to find out the current latest version of Angular, you may try to run the simple npm command. Good luck. Also, during this talk, I will be referencing to React.js a lot. For those who don't know, React.js is a JavaScript library for transforming, composing, and querying the asynchronous streams of data. So, what is the most common challenge we are facing at developing single-page applications using modern front-end frameworks? It is a component communication, or basically the data flow. That's always the complex part you have to think about. In many cases, when component initiating a change, everything what rely on the change needs to be updated accordingly. So as a developers, we want to solve this problem as efficient as possible. Normally, our apps has a nested component structure like that. Components within the structure interacting with each other, the way the data changes and flows around. So yeah, the component communication can get really crazy. Here's a simple example of filtering. Based on the search term on the filter component, the result component updated accordingly with the new data. Sometimes we can solve this problem just by using input and output mechanism. This mechanism used by Angular developers to send and receive data from one component to another. In some cases, it works well. But in case of deep nested components, which you probably have to avoid as much as you can, it might not be the best approach. In complex cases, using input and output, introducing a bit of boilerplate that we had to maintain going forward. But we want to keep things simple and maintainable. So there is another solution for that. Let's use reactive services. Using reactive services approach, we can solve the component communication in our apps in a quite elegant and a simple way. But before we get to that, let's answer the question, what is service? As probably some people here on the stream might not quite familiar with that concept, especially with those who are not Angular developers. So in Angular, service is just a class that holds business logic. This class can be used by a particular component, set of components, or a particular feature of your application. So reactive service is a service class that wraps behavior subject. I will show you all details on that in upcoming demo, but you may wonder what's behavior subject. So behavior subject is a class that comes from a React.js library. With behavior subject, we can create an observable, set its initial value, set a new value, and get a current state. So let's see the demo. Basically, this is a simple demo application I'll show you today. It's a simple kind of counter with a number of components. In parent and child components and little child, I'm just increasing the number. And in the container component, I'm displaying the summary. That's a very simple application. Let's see how the services looks like. So that's a service class called counter service. Here I'm using the behavior subject, which comes from a React.js library. And I'm setting its initial state, and then I can expose this state as a state $sign variable, which is public. So consumers can use this state $sign. $sign in this particular case means it is observable. So it's kind of like a convention. And within this service, I have a number of functions, set value 1, 2, 3, and then summary. And within set value 1, I'm getting the current state as a value, and then I'm setting a new state, or value 1. So let's see how I'm consuming this service within the component. So let's take a parent component. So here I'm injecting a counter service inside the constructor. And then what I can do, I can call state $sign, which gives me the latest value 1 for this particular component, because this component is interested in value 1. And then what I can do, I can update the value by calling set value 1 function. And here is in the template of this component. So what I'm doing, I'm calling the update value function. So I can set decrease or increase the value. And then accessing to value $sign variable, I can display the current value. So that's how we display, that's how we subscribe to observables in Angular. So we're using this magic async pipe. So it can subscribe for things, for observables, and then when component get disposed, it can unsubscribe automatically. So can we do this, something better than that? Can we implement the reactive service class in a better way? Yes, we can. In case you don't want to deal with behavioral subjects directly in your code, you can just use a React service library. A React service library wraps behavior subject for you. So you just operate with simple API, like set value, get value, reset value, and so on. You can find more details on that via this link. And now let's see the demo. So I have implementation of exactly same functionality, which is doing exactly the same thing as this counter service. So here it is. It's another service, and you can see this code looks a little bit cleaner, right? So that's how the old implementation looks like, and that's how the new looks like. As you can see, there is no behavior subject here in this class. And the magic here, because I am actually using a React service, right, which comes from a React service class, which comes from a React service library. So now I don't need a behavior subject here in this service because it sits behind the React service. So what I do, I just call in methods, which comes from a React service, like set state. Also, it has more methods or functions, if you will. Get state, reset state, and set state. So, yeah, so the code gets a little bit cleaner. You don't have to work with the behavior subject directly. And this allows you to build your services in a consistent way. And consistent means better maintainable. So nothing changed in the application. Like I don't have to change anything in the component, nothing. I just change a little bit of implementation of my counter service. So now it looks like that. Okay. So let's recap. Let's summarize. I was talking about component communication and single page applications. and how to approach component communication using reactive services that powered by a React.js behavior subject. And then I demonstrated how to simplify reactive services using a React service library. So we're getting to the end now, and I hope you did enjoy it so far and learn something new. Thank you for listening. You can follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn or Dev2 if you want to hear more stuff like that, or if you want to learn more Angular tips and modern web development. You can subscribe to my mailing list at kuncevič.dev/daily. And if you're interested in Angular mentoring, or hit me on Twitter, LinkedIn, or send me email. Also, you can join Angular Sydney Meetup group to participate in upcoming online events. You can find all the links on this slide, and I will share as a link to this presentation in the chat, and then I tweet it. That's all.
Wow, Aliaksei, thank you.